Next on Worcester News tonight, new information on the gunman who opened fire at a Florida airport, killing 5 people. We'll hear from a local man who witnessed the ordeal. Plus, the Worcester Oval hosting some Olympic athletes tonight. We'll have the details. Thank you for joining us. I'm Catherine Andrioli. More on those stories in a minute, but first, the Northbridge Public Schools are reaching out to parents today. In a letter, the district superintendent, Catherine Stickney, says she was notified by authorities an instructional assistant at Northbridge High School has been arrested for criminal conduct. Stickney says the criminal conduct does not involve any students in the Northbridge Public Schools, but she has banned the man from going to any of the school district's grounds. Officials are now working with authorities with this investigation. And new details emerging tonight after a gunman opens fire at the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood Airport, killing 5 people and injuring 8. The Broward County Sheriff says the suspected gunman, identified as 26-year-old Esteban Santiago, was taken into custody today. Santiago is said to have opened fire in the lower floor of Terminal 2 around 12:55 p.m. today. Sources say Santiago was carrying a military ID with him. He had served in the Puerto Rico National Guard for 10 months. NBC News is reporting Santiago had been undergoing mental health problems, complaining he had been hearing voices. According to federal law enforcement officials, no motive has been identified for the shooting at this time. And we're hearing from a local man tonight who says he was at the Fort Lauderdale airport during the time of the shooting and describes the frightening ordeal he witnessed. He spoke today on the Jordan Levy show on Charter TV3.
All I looked to the left, there was a flood of people, a wave of people running over chairs and seats. And I was sitting close to the JetBlue people at the counter. And the next thing I did is dove underneath a chair and realized that everybody was still running. So I turned and saw the JetBlue people pushing everybody out the jet door, the jetway at F5. And we just ran for our lives. But I will tell you, I thought I was at the ocean, and it was a wave of people jumping over seats. I mean, it was all chaos, crying and people just scattering. And we found these trucks that were lined up, and we just stood behind them and called loved ones to let them know that we were okay.
And JetBlue says their flights to Fort Lauderdale are suspended until at least Saturday morning. And the Worcester Regional Airport has regularly scheduled flights to and from Fort Lauderdale and Orlando. Today, we spoke with passengers at the airport who traveled from Florida. Some say they almost took the flight from Fort Lauderdale to Worcester and are shocked to hear the news.
Just me being 15 and traveling by myself, it kind of did scare me when I was just going through the channels and everything and seeing that there was a shooting at one of the airports that I was almost about to go to.
I mean, this could have been us. I mean, just knowing that something random like this could happen at an airport is very scary. I'm a single mom and I have 2 little kids, and this could have been us.
And other travelers we spoke with say they spend their winters in Florida and regularly travel to and from the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood Airport. They say no one can ever expect something like this to happen.
I have a place in Hallandale. However, that devastating news is, it's just overpowering. Oh, it's just so traumatic.
In the past, we've enjoyed flying in there. This is something new, nobody could expect that.
Tonight's JetBlue flights to and from Worcester were canceled. A town employee in Dudley is charged with larceny after police say he had been stealing gasoline for the past few months. The gasoline is intended for town use, but an officer spotted him in his personal car at the gas pump earlier this week. Nichols Rivera faced a judge today. Our Olivia Lemon was there for his arraignment and has the story.
27-year-old Nichols Rivera appears in Dudley District Court Friday. The call firefighter for the Dudley Fire Department is charged with stealing more than $1,000 worth of gasoline from the town. Police say the thefts took place over the last 4 months.
He's a resident of Dudley, Judges lived there his whole life.
Dudley police say an officer noticed Rivera early Monday morning in his personal car at the Dudley Highway Department fuel pumps. When asked what he was doing, Rivera said he was looking for a lost key.
Subsequently, the officers look into the situation, and it turns out that there was a a suspicion of possibly the fuel being taken over a period of time.
In court, wearing a shirt with a fire helmet on it, Rivera was ordered to hand over any keys and other property owned by the town of Dudley. Police Chief Stephen Weiner says Rivera had taken more than 600 gallons of gas dating back to at least September 2016. The gasoline is intended for town use only for vehicles like cruisers, fire trucks, and DPW equipment.
The public shouldn't be bearing the brunt of these types of activities. Somebody wants to take advantage of the public funds and public resources should not be tolerated.
The pumps are only accessible with special keys and access codes. Weiner says it's still unclear how Rivera had access to a key.
He had a key that belonged to a vehicle at one point, so we're still trying to exactly tie in where that key came from.
Meanwhile, Weiner says Rivera is no longer working with the fire department. Olivia Lemon, Worcester News Tonight.
New tonight, Millbury police say they have arrested a 21-year-old Worcester man in an attempted ATM theft. The incident was caught on surveillance video at Goretti Supermarket Thursday. Police say they arrested John Goodnow after locating the vehicle seen in this video. Goodnow is charged with breaking and entering with intent to commit a felony as well as malicious destruction of property. 19 residents are displaced today after a fire at a Kingsbury Street three-decker. Residents of the building say the fire started around 11 p.m. and there is extensive damage to the inside of the building on the third floor. Lewis, who lives on the third floor, says due to the damage to the electrical system, along with many other residents, he has to relocate.
A lot of smoking. Well, the fire was a little fire, but a lot of smoke. Ceiling, so had to be fixed. The wire had to be fixed because there's no electricity. We're going to call the Red Cross to see if they'll help us.
And again, authorities are still trying to determine the cause of that fire. And the Worcester man charged in the 2015 shooting death of a woman found in a burning car is being held without bail. 39-year-old Donovan Goparian pled not guilty Friday to charges of first-degree murder. Mary Martin was found dead in a burning car off Swan Avenue in November of 2015. An autopsy revealed she had been shot in the head. A grand jury indicted Goparian last month. The case has been continued until March 2nd. We are 2 weeks away from President-elect Donald Trump officially being sworn in as the 45th President of the United States, and dozens of college students from central Massachusetts are making the trip to the nation's capital for inauguration. Our Andy Madison has the details.
As a self-described political geek, Professor Erica Cornelius-Smith is excited for the opportunity she has with her students to show them how politics works outside of the classroom.
This was a very unique election, so we thought it might be interesting to create an interdisciplinary course with psych and political science and take a group of students to the inauguration itself.
Nichols senior Angelina Butler is one of 23 students going to the nation's capital.
I'm just really excited to go and see what it's like, and I don't have any expectations. I'm just going with an open mind and, ready to learn more.
For some students, this visit will be their first time ever in the nation's capital. But the inauguration is only part of the group's activities.
We will be participating in a simulation. So at the end of all of the academic sites, the students get to actually put together a federal budget based on all the policy stuff they've been talking about all week.
Students were chosen on a first-come, first-served basis and filled out an application prior to the election. There is no political science major at Nichols, but the trip could go a long way toward influencing the future generation to consider a career in public office.
It's about this sort of larger conversation of creating collaboration and working together no matter what your party idea is, no matter who your candidate was. So everybody who deposited by November 8th, all 23 students, we didn't lose a single one after the election.
I think that having knowledge about the election and politics and all the policies, especially like the hands-on experience that we'll be getting in DC, will allow people to have an open mind and, not be so left-wing, right-wing.
And a chance to witness history. Andy Madison, Worcester News Tonight.
And the Worcester Oval hosted a team of Olympic luge skaters tonight during Friday night skate hosted by St. Gobain. Members of the U.S. Luge team were at the ice rink tonight for a demonstration by former Olympic athletes, including 1998 Olympic luge doubles silver medalist Gordy Shear. Community members enjoyed free admission to the Worcester Oval tonight. A spokesperson for the luge team says they are thrilled to bring this to the Worcester community and teach people more about the sport of luge, which they say is becoming more popular.
Definitely seen an uptick since the U.S. team has become podium regulars at World Cup, World Championship, and Olympic Games. Teams really, we're a force to be reckoned with now, and that certainly helped boost the popularity of the sport.
And this is the fourth year the event has taken place at the Worcester Oval rink. This weekend is also the Norton Luge Challenge at Wachusett Mountain.